getting frustrated for Justin, because I've been in that situation before.
Yeah, we hear Neil Jarni is due in, or he's just actually making his pit stop right now. Bourdais, we're told, will go 3 more laps before making his pit stop. That will be on lap 28, we believe, and that's when we reckon most of the guys are going to be on pit lane. A bit surprised to see Neil Jarni come in that soon. He gave up, I think he was running about in 11th place at that stage, so he's a long way back in the order, certainly not where he wanted to be. That is Oriol Survey. He's running now in 9th place, and we can see that Alex Tagliani apparently is making a pit stop now as well.
There's Alex Tagliani. Here he is in the pits. Everything seems pretty routine, pretty clean. He's pulled out there as we see Bruno Junqueira in the Sunny Barbecue car just behind him. So here's Tag creeping down pit lane at the mandatory 50 miles an hour, off that button, back up to speed. And again, a little bit earlier than he would want to, he would generally have made a pit. So I think, I'm sure he's hoping perhaps if he can get these tires up to speed really quickly, really well, maybe he can make up enough time to get ahead of the cars that it was ahead of him. That would be Robert Dornbos and Will Power before, by the time they make their pit stops. But generally speaking, works in the favour of the guys
down here with
longer.
Justin Wilson. They are taking off the optional tires. They are putting the primary black wall tires onto the car. And as I take a look at those red wall tires, the Bridgestones that came off the car, they look like they've taken a beating.
Thanks, Bill Stevens there in the CDW pit of the R Sport team. The first pit stop completed for Justin Wilson. Robert Dornbos leads the race at the moment. He will do another lap or perhaps 2 before coming onto the pit lane. That will certainly be of benefit to him. And Justin Wilson, we believe, came out of the pits around about 5th place as he came across the line, perhaps. I think he'll drop a little bit lower than that possibly, but other people now are sequencing through in for their round of pit stops. There's Tristan Gomondi as well, and Dan Clark leave the pit lane nose to tail, actually, so it must have been a good start by Dan Clark. Here is the Team Australia.
That's Simone Pagenaud, number 15 car. He pitted from just outside the top 10, I believe, and he's now back on track. As Paul Tracy screams by, he's now picking up a few positions, obviously, because he had his earlier pit stop and was able to run very quick laps, very similar to Justin Wilson, after he got out of the pits, as we see Alex Figge now pulling out of his stall.
And here are the race leaders. There is Robert Dornbos and Will Power. Nose to tail, Sebastian Bourdais staying out 1 more lap. So that's a good stop, a good strategy for him. Also, Graham Rahal does one more lap.
Robert Dornbos is coming in just a moment. It's interesting that his team told him not to worry about mileage too much. I think they anticipated rain today. So now that he is in the pit, they'll refuel that car. But in the early going, they told him, don't worry about mileage.
Wow, that was close. Look at that. He got him out ahead, though, of Robert Dornbos. A great stop there by Walker Racing Team Australia. They get Will Power out of the pits ahead of Robert Dornbos.
And not only that, Will Power started the race on black tires where everybody else had done it on the red tires. Now, Robert Dornbos is going to have to let Will Power go here, and he is. You saw him being patient there. But now Will is on the softer, slightly faster tires, so he's gotten ahead of the second place man, and he's got better tires.
There's a new nose cone there for Oriol Survey. He's made some sort of a mistake out on the track. He comes in for service there in the Forsyth Championship Racing Team, as we're waiting now for Sebastian Bourdais and Graham Rahal to come onto pit lane on 1 lap later. They've managed to do 29 laps it will be for Bourdais and Rahal. Here is Sebastian Bourdais. And Cameron Steele is in the Newman Haas Lanigan pit.
And yes, Craig Hampson was upset with the way things were running early in the race just by the traffic, wishing Dornbos would get moving. He said no changes to the car. Sebastian is not complaining at all. He says everything is good. They're just trying to get better track position.
And it's worked. There goes Graham Rahal as well, and they are out way ahead of Will Power and Robert Dornbos. There is Graham Rahal locking up the brakes down into turn 1. He's going to go through those. As long as he doesn't make up time or distance over the other guys, he will not be penalised.
That's kind of a tough one to judge, because they weren't really close enough to really see how that was going to work out. But I think he will probably get away with that as he heads through turn 4 now. Obviously, no tire warmers here in the Champ Car World Series, so they're coming out. The tires are very cold. The air temperature is fairly cold. The track temperature is not that hot, so it's taking these guys a little bit longer to get up to speed with these Bridgestone tires.
Yeah, it is. It's quite cool today. It's only about 60-odd degrees, so a lot cooler than it often is up here in the Pacific Northwest. But that was certainly great strategy by the Newman Haas Lanigan team. They're seeking it's a 100th win this weekend. A remarkable effort. The first win, of course, way back in 1983 with Mario Andretti. when Paul Newman and Carl Haas set up this team, running Lola chassis. It's been a long, long ride since then, but this man, Sebastian Bourdais, has won 25 races for the Newman Haas team, and now with Mike Lanigan joining the operation as well this season.
Justin Wilson out front here in Portland.
We're delighted you could join us here in Portland International Raceway. Jeremy Shaw with James Hinchcliffe. Welcome to all our international partners, including Eurosport 2 and Fox Sports. Wherever you are in the world, we're delighted to have you with us. There is the defending series champion, Sebastian Bourdais, but so far this afternoon, it's been all this man, Justin Wilson, the lanky Englishman, Badass Wilson. Actually, on they put it on the side of the car this weekend, just before the qualifying session on Friday. There's a nickname that goes back to his Formula Palmer Audi days at the Bedford Autodrome. Justin Wilson, as everybody knows, one of the nicest guys on the planet, and they nicknamed him Badass, which is just a very sarcastic reference to his joyful nature. And the CDW boss here this weekend said, hey, let's put Badass Wilson on the side of the car. They did it between the practice and qualifying sessions on Friday, and old Justin stepped up to the plate and they put it on the pole position, and it's been all about Justin for this for the balance of the weekend so far. He's doing some very quick laps right now, lapping very consistently in about the low 60-second range. Interesting, he's running about the same sort of lap times on the black sidewall Bridgestone Potenza tyres as he was on the red sidewall, slightly softer tyres in the early stages of this race. Of course, there were rain yesterday, all the rubber was washed away, and now we're getting rubber laid down again. The track will get faster. Absolutely, and
especially for the guys in the red sidewall tyres for this stint. I think you'll see a little bit more of an improvement from their lap times as that rubber goes down, but it's actually Sebastian Bourdais who's the fastest car on track at present, and he's actually taken the fastest lap of the race at a 59.891, the first guy to break the 60-second barrier there. So Sebastian absolutely on it, but he's some 15, almost 16 seconds behind Justin Wilson. He's got a lot of work to do, unless of course the safety car comes out. Well, yes, absolutely right. That would certainly play into his hands, but he was not happy with the car on Friday with Sebastian Bourdais. He's clearly very happy with it right now. There is the Ozjet car of the Minardi Team USA, that is Robert Dornbos. He's fallen to fourth place now. Will Power, as we saw during that first round of pit stops, was able to get past the Minardi Team USA car, push Robert Dornbos down to what is now fourth place. And behind him, Tristan Gomendy, there he is, doing an excellent job there for the PKV Racing team. And Tristan Gomendy, the Paper Touch Mega Spiera car, he's just done a fabulous job this weekend as the Frenchman. He struggled physically with these cars at the early stage of the season, but he's working very, very hard now to make sure that he is up to the performance of these cars. And this is going to be a good test for Tristan, because the track here at Portland, as I've been saying, these long, fast corners, not only do they, because they're quick, they put a lot of force on the body, and because they're long, they do it obviously for a longer duration. So this is a fairly physical track. Your arms and neck especially get very, very tired by the end of a full distance here at Portland. So it'll be interesting reference for Tristan when he gets out of the car, how he's feeling, because Edmonton is coming up in the not too distant future, and that is a very physical track. That easily takes the hardest track that the Champ Car World Series races on. So everyone's going to have to be a little bit beefed up for that race. Yes, they are indeed. And the good news also for Tristan this weekend is it's not nearly as warm as it might be. Temperature's been in the 50s and 60s most of the weekend. A little bit warmer today than it was certainly yesterday, and even on Friday. It's up to about the mid-60s now, we believe, mid-65 or so degrees Fahrenheit. But so not nearly physically draining, as physically draining as it would be if it was up to the 80s or 90s, which it has been here in the past. But still, Tristan, there he is. He's running very comfortably, it would appear, in fifth place. Set the order, you can see it across the top of the screen, and he's a long way back of the leaders, 26 seconds behind Justin Wilson. And there's another, as we watch the lap times, I'm watching on the scoring screen here, another sub 60-second lap for Sebastian Bourdais. Justin Wilson, meanwhile, a 60.4, so about a half a second taken off that lead by the second place car of Sebastian Bourdais. The gap from first to second, 15.1 second, and they flash across the line one more time. That's 36 laps completed.
Good job, go!
Good job, go. Yes, indeed.
That's relatively easy instructions. Even a driver could follow those. No,
good encouragement. I think that's best. You've got to take that as an encouraging sign, from your team.
Absolutely. You could hear the excitement.
At least they don't say, push.
Yeah.
Or as if he's
exactly. You're not going fast enough. Pick up the pace. I think they're all pretty impressed and very happy with the kind of pace that Tristan's showing all weekend, and especially right now in the race, running in 5th place, which is where he qualified. Like I said, just a fantastic result so far from him. He's ahead of Alex Tagliani right now, who we definitely saw was very quick in the early stages of this race, and just behind Robert Dornbos, about 2 seconds back. So very, very competitive out it.
Yeah, Tagliani clearly lost a couple of positions in that first round of pits. Up there is a second with the Minardi Team USA cars, and on board here with Graham Rahal. Graham Rahal still in 8th place, so surprisingly he didn't get any gains out of his first pit stop. I fancy, however, he probably lost a few seconds by going through that chicane when he tried to carry too much speed as he came out of the pit lane on his outlap. So that probably cost him quite a lot. I think otherwise he might have made up 2 or 3 positions on that by making that pit stop 1 lap later than the other guys.
Potentially. I mean, I'm not sure how much that cost him, because I think he and Sebastian were the 2 last cars to pit.
Yeah, but he wasn't far behind Sebastian Bourdais as he came out of the pit lane.
That is
and
true.
He's now, 15 seconds behind him. I reckon it cost him 6 or 7 seconds by going through there, because you have to slow right down, and that's exactly what he did. We could see that on the screen.
That is true, but he certainly does have the pace. It's unfortunate. He actually has the 2nd quickest lap of the race. The only other man, other than Sebastian Bourdais, to have broken the 60-second barrier at a 59.909. So he's certainly got the pace. He just is unable to get by traffic, just because, as I've been saying all along, it's very tough to follow cars here in Portland. So he's gonna have to be patient, and maybe if he can save a bit of fuel in this one, try the same strategy for the next round of pit stops. Maybe stay out a bit later, get some good laps in clean air, and maybe move up a few positions.
So they're on board with Graham Rahal. He's had a lot of success here in the past in his young career. And of course his dad won the Champ Car race here 20 years ago in 1987 for the Budweiser True Sports team. Graham Rahal, he won his first national go-kart race in the Portland area, 3 or 4 years ago. He won his first Formula BMW race here.
Star Mazda.
Both.
No. It's his first open-wheel car race was here in the Star Open Car win. Down to Michelle Beisner actually in the pits. We'll get back to Graham Rahal in a little bit.
Dan, Justin has been the man to beat this weekend. Tell me why that is.
Well, he's got a good car. Car's been running well all weekend, and I think he's very comfortable with his track. He's always done well here, and right now he's got pretty clean air, so he's running very smooth. As long as the car is running well, I think we'll probably finish up pretty well.
So we are on board again with Justin Wilson, and again still lapping very, very consistently in the mid-60-second range. The gap to Sebastian Bourdais continues to go faster and faster. 59.839 last lap for Sebastian Bourdais. The gap from first to second now a little bit under 14 seconds with 39 laps in the books. We've got 40 minutes down in the race and 1 hour and 4 minutes or so to go. It'll be 1 hour and 45-minute race. So still a long way to go here in Portland for the Champ Car World Series. So there's a look at the gaps farther down the field. So Paul Tracy, we should say, after making that out-of-sequence pit stop, that really paid off for him. We're watching here Simon Pagenaud in the second of the Walker Racing Team Australia cars, running in 10th place. And as you can see, ahead of him on the racetrack is Paul Tracy. So that was a very good call by that team to bring him in early, turn some quick laps on a clear racetrack with only the race leader to worry about. And he's come out now inside the top 10. That's a lot better than he was running beforehand.
Yeah, it certainly got him inside the top 10, and that's going to be an important haul of points for Paul. Now, hopefully he can move up a few more places, but we've actually just learned, as we were talking about Graham Rahal a bit earlier, how he's lost all this time to Sebastian. He went off. He came out in front of Will Power, and as Will went by him, he had a bit of an off-track excursion, and so that is also added on to the fact that he missed a chicane, what cost him a bunch of time. So not the best start to the second stint here for Graham Rahal, but as we said, he certainly has the pace as he's tracking down Dan Clark in the Minardi Team USA car, fighting for 7th place.
Yeah, good onboard footage here coming down the back part of the course to reach about 170 miles an hour down here and through this very quick chicane.
It's just, honestly, TV does not do it justice. It is so quick through there. You're traveling at well over 100 and I'd say 70 miles an hour going into it. I think they're down to maybe 5th gear through there, probably 140 miles an hour, I'd say. And when you're going that fast, if you miss your turning point by 1/10 of a second on track and distance, you've missed it by 100 feet at that speed. So you just got to be so precise, and it's a quick left-right combination, and then you're hard on the brakes for that last corner.